friends, it's Emily from burlapkitchen.com, and today we are going to do one of our Scarecrow craft kits that we have in the store. So this video is going to be a little bit slower than my normal pre-recorded videos, but I want to make sure that if someone got this kit, they see what's going on. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to mix some orange. I think I'm using jack-o'-lantern orange is the color. Any bright orange will work, but then what you want to do is just add a dot of black to tone it down. So we're going to give it one coat. Now our kits come pre-cut. You'll get all the pieces with them. They do not come pre-stained though. So I stained these before I did the video, just so I was ready to go when I did the live with this. So then I'm going to dry it. So I always recommend staining it the night before. So if you get one of these kits, go ahead and stain your pieces the night before, and then the next day you can do your painting. So then I'm going to go ahead and add a second coat of this just to kind of brighten it up. And again, that was just that orange paint that I mixed with a dot of black just to get a more rustic look. So then make sure it's nice and dry. Then we're going to go on to the next pumpkin. And I painted this too bright white at first. This was too white for what I wanted for this project. So I actually went over top of it with the color antique, or with the color Antique White from Apple Barrel. So I'm going to give it a dry here, and then I will go over it again with that Antique White. So your pumpkins at the bottom, they're going to be slanted. When you see the slanted part, that is the bottom of the pumpkin, and that's going to match up with the bottom of your Scarecrow. When we go to put this together, you'll see what I mean. So just make sure that when you paint it, you're painting the front. Now I'm going to come in with some brown oxide, and you'll have this little strip there, which is the rim of the Scarecrow's hat, and we're going to paint that too. So we're just going to paint this with some brown oxide. That's also an Apple Barrel paint. And then we're going to come in and paint the rim of the hat. Now for the rim of the hat, I do paint the front and back, just because if I have it slanted a certain way when it's sitting out on my porch, I just don't want it to show. So I'm just going to paint the front and back of the hat. And then we're going to give it a nice dry. So let me get this back part painted quick. And then I'm going to come in with some Antique White and then just a dot of Territorial Beige, both Apple Barrel colors. And I'm going to mix them. I'm just trying to get sort of like a burlappy color for the face of the Scarecrow. And then you can see where I just kind of dragged my finger across the board. That's where you want to kind of start your line, and you're just going to paint up. So we try to keep our craft kits as simple as possible so anyone can do them and anyone can have fun with them. And they're not super advanced, so you don't have to be an artist to do these. So I'm just going to give this another coat here. And I do the sides. I always say a stained back is a finished back. So I'm not really so much worried about the back, but I am about the sides. Then I'm going to come in with the Waverly chalk paint in the moss green. You guys know I've been loving that color this fall. So we're going to add that to the bottom here. And don't worry where do you see where I'm going across the top there? Don't worry if that's not even. We're going to fix that up in a minute. You're not even going to see it. So don't worry where it meets. Just get it as even as you can, but don't stress about it. So then we're going to give that a nice dry, and I'm going to add a second coat to this. And again, I'm just going along the top there where the face meets the body. And we are almost done with that. Okay, so give it a nice dry now. And then we're going to come in with a sanding block, and you're going to sand your entire project. Again, if you're watching this is a lot slower than my normal ones. Just in case you get the kit, I want you to be able to see how to do the project and see each step very clearly. So I'm just sanding this, and I'm just using a sanding block. You can get these at Lowe's. We do send a little piece of sandpaper with the kits. But if you would prefer a sanding block, you can get those at Lowe's, or I think even Dollar Tree sells them. So I'm going to go over the pumpkin now with the sanding block. And don't forget, like I said, when you paint your pumpkin, the slanted part goes at the bottom. You can kind of see how I sat that down there. So that slanted part will match up even with the bottom of the Scarecrow. So I'm going to go over the white pumpkin here with my sanding block. And then I'm just going to go over the rim of the hat here quick with my sanding block. Next, we're going to come in with some raffia, which you will get a little packet. And in your little packet you will have your raffia. You will have Spanish moss. Actually, I think there's 2 packets in this one. So you have one with raffia and one with Spanish moss, and then one with all the other embellishments. So we're just going to glue its hair in place here. I'm just gluing it down and holding that raffia down. And that part is a little bit tricky. It's very doable. It's just a little tricky to get the raffia to stay in place sometimes. And then glue the rim of the hat down. Be very generous with the glue when you glue the rim of the hat down. And then we're just going to come in with some scissors, and we're just going to trim this Scarecrow's hair up the way that we want it to look. So I'm going to pull some of this raffia over to give it a little bit of bangs. Then I'm going to come in with my hot glue gun, and I am going to glue my pumpkin in place. Now, we don't send nails or anything like that with this, but I said if you really wanted to, you probably could get some finishing nails at Lowe's and tack them in if you're worried about them coming loose. But I haven't had a problem with them. So in your next packet, you're going to have a hunk of burlap, and we did send a decent sized piece in case you mess up the nose the first time you make it. So there's probably enough to make 2, maybe even 3 noses, just in case you would cut it wrong, but you just want to cut a triangle out. And we glued that in place, and then we just come in with some dots for the eyes. We dotted some black one with the back of a paintbrush, and then got a smaller paintbrush and dotted some white in the middle. Then I came in with a Sharpie ultra fine point marker, and I just drew a straight line for the eyebrows and then a squiggly line for his mouth. Then I'm going to come in for his mouth and just draw some straight lines all around it. I know you can't see it so good here, but when you see the finished product, you'll see it. Then I came in with some blush on my pinky and just added some cheeks. And now we're just going to go ahead and tie his little scarf in. So you're going to want to go ahead and stain the little pumpkin stems. They're also in your embellishment pack. We're just going to stain those real quick. And you can do that the night before too with your other staining. And then we're just going to lay them down and glue them in place. I always like to lay them down first to see how they look, to make sure they look the way that I want before I glue them. Next, I'm going to come in with some Spanish moss, and I'm just going to glue that behind the stem. And then I'm going to trim his scarf down, just like that. And that is it. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this craft kit. We have these in the store. For any information on this, just comment below and let me know, and I will share with you how to get one. Thank you. Bye.